So how many of you see, as we grow up, you see that we kind of start taking ourselves a little seriously? You see that happening, yes or no? Okay, excellent. How many of you have a 4 or 5-year-old living at home? A kid, 4 or 5-year-old. How many times a day does your kid laugh in one day, if you had to guess? 100 times. How about you behind her, ma'am? All day long. She's like, my kid's funnier than hers, okay? Yeah. Well, they did a study, University of California, Berkeley. 4-year-olds in America laugh over 300 times a day. 300 times a day. Now, how many times do you think the average adult in America laughs? Once, and I haven't laughed yet today. This ain't funny at all. This bathroom humor stuff, whatever you think that is. This is an educational conference here. Where's the meat? I want some strategy. So the average adult, guess how many times we laugh in general? Like 7. So here's these 4-year-olds laughing 400 times a day. We grow up and we're acting 7. So what are we modeling based on this study? What are we modeling for kids? Yeah, grow up. Wipe that smile off your face. Act your age. And no wonder they're growing up all serious like this, right? So, interesting. Let me ask you a question. How many of you in this room can paint a picture? Raise your hand. Okay? Wow. Okay. A lot of people from my class last hour. Who's the kindergarten teacher? Raise your hand. Kindergarten teachers? If I walk into any kindergarten class and I ask these children, how many of you can paint a picture? How many hands would I have up? All of them. Okay? So I'm at the, there's an association for all the teachers who teach teachers. Right? Remember the professors that taught us? They have an association. They were in Chicago. 1,800 teachers who teach teachers, mostly professors. Okay? Most of them have PhDs. I asked the same question. How many of you can paint a picture? Honest to God, there was less than 2 dozen. Less than 24. And I jumped off the stage. It was the first time I ever asked that question. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I went up to, ma'am, what's your name? Dr. Johnson. Doctor, can you paint a picture? No. Sir, how about you? Dr. Smith. Dr. Smith, can you paint a picture? Absolutely not. And I was like, wow. So I asked the kindergarten kids in America, how many of you can paint a picture? Me. How many of you can sing? Oh, I can. Right? And here's this group, and I asked this group, how many of you have PhDs? At least 90% of them had their hands up. I thought of all the education in this room, all the knowledge in this room, and you're telling me that less than 1% of us can paint a picture? What's up with that? Based on this informal study, who has more self-esteem, them or us? Who say kids have more self-esteem? Raise your hand. Wow, it's universal. So if that's the case, I'm going to get a close-up here. If that's the case, there's a lot we can learn from children. Kids don't have a lot of fear, you know, those little ones. In fact, we're only born with 2 fears. Does anyone know what those 2 fears are that we're born with? The fear of death? No. You don't come out of your mom going, I don't want to die, because, you know. Guess again. Falling is one. Very good. The fear of heights or falling, and the other one is the fear of landing, right? Falling and landing. No. The fear of falling and the fear of loud noises. Someone said public speaking. Raise your hand. Who said that? Yeah, do you think you come out of your mom going, keep that microphone out of my mouth? It's the number one fear for many adults. In fact, how many of you are quite afraid of public speaking? Raise your hand. Come on up and tell us right now why. I'm pointing. Oh yeah, look at her. She's pointing to her. I saw your. But why would that be? See, why would that be? Let's do this. Close your eyes right now. Close your eyes and think of the most embarrassing moment of your life. Just to close your eyes. Please close your eyes. Think of the most embarrassing moment of your entire life. And can you broaden out on that camera and get like a, yeah, so I can just look and see who's cheating? Yeah. So close your eyes, think of the most embarrassing moment of your life. Now I'm walking around the room, and I'm going to tap a couple of you on the shoulder. If I tap your shoulder, I'd like you to come to the front of the room and share with the entire group that most, now I'm looking up here, who's cheating? This woman over here. If I tap your shoulder, you're going to come to the front of the room and share that most embarrassing moment with the entire group. Ma'am, on the computer, okay? What's going on? Let's look at what she's doing. Okay, good. Let's see what... I love technology. What do we got here? Good, yeah. You're focusing on that? That's good. Kids learn... Oh, good, she's taking notes. Okay, good. Yeah. Love it, love it. You go, girl. You go, girl. Okay, right up there. Go get it. Yeah. So, how many of you, just go ahead and open your eyes. We're done with that exercise. How many of you, raise your hand to the people I just tapped. Raise your hand, please. I'm always waiting for some wise guy to get his partner. Yep, you got me. Now, I didn't tap anyone. Let me ask you, how many of you had this thought go through your head? Don't tap me, don't tap me, don't tap me, don't tap me. Okay? How many of you had this one? I'm glad I sat in the middle. He's not coming in this far. Or, I'm glad I'm sitting at the wall back here because he ain't coming back here, right? Or how about this one? I'm going to have to lie. There's no way. That's an example of what? Of fear. And what does fear do? It constricts us. That fear constricts you. And what is that fear of? The fear of embarrassment, perhaps? The fear of failure? And I was with a group not too long ago. This was wonderful. It was a group of people that work in long-term care health facilities. And these people don't get paid a lot of money, sort of like the paraprofessionals. They make around $9, $10 an hour. I said, what's something that you would want to ask for, but you're afraid to? And this woman kind of meekly said, well, I really want to go back to school to be a nurse. I'm sorry? I'd like to go to school to be a nurse. I said, well, what do you need to do? Well, I need to take my community college. I said, well, what would you ask for? Well, I don't have enough money. I said, well, what would you ask for? Well, I can't, she said. I said, well, if you had to, what would you ask for? She goes, well, I'd ask for some help. I said, well, why don't you? She goes, I can't do that. I said, try it. She goes, well, I said, how much is semester at the community college? $1,200. Great. Try asking. She goes, well, can anyone help me? And we had a room about this size. I said, okay, yeah, I'm going to give you $20. In fact, I'll give you $40. Anyone else in this room who wants to help her for her first semester at the community college, we have 60 seconds, and only 60 seconds. We were in a hotel room. We had all these big trays. I said, you go there, boom, 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 boom. And then we're down to 40 seconds. Then we're down to 20 seconds. 10 seconds. Everyone's flying. In the matter of 60 seconds, she had 4 big trays of cash heaped in front of her. And she started crying. And I said, isn't it amazing what can happen if we're willing to ask for it? But that fear of asking, someone once said, if you were willing to ask 1,000 people, there's nothing that you could not have in this world. But we're afraid of no. She's going to say no, go back to the drawing board. But you're on a plane, and the flight attendant says, would you like peanuts? And you say, no, thank you. She doesn't personalize it. All it is no, thank you. So would you like to join? No, thank you. Thank you. Boom, next person. Do you know what I'm saying? But not being afraid to ask.